ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिविकासस्वामिने नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे भगवान् प्रचारिणे विशेषशून्यवादि पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं यत्कृपा तमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुचरितारणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरम्। यस्य देवे परा भक्तिर्यथा देवे तथा गुरु तस्य ते कविता हि अर्था प्रकाशन्ते महात्मा। गुरुवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकाय दुदारे कृष्णाय कृष्ण भक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। आजीषा यस्य वदने लक्ष्मीर्यस्य स वक्षसि यस्यास्ते हृदये संवित्तं नरसिंहं भजे। योऽन्तः प्रविश्य वाचमानसुतां सञ्जीवयत्य किल शत्रुशतस्धाम्यां च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय। निजगुरुहरिवाण्या कृष्णचित्तो विचिन्तयति ध्रुवजनसुखाब्दो मज्जेन संसपिष्टुच्चैतन्यकासः। Okay, so we're reading from the book The Mood and Mission of Srila Prabhupada. We are in volume 3, part 15, Wayward Disciples. So continuing to read. Notwithstanding these pointed responses, after this class, Srila Prabhupada cautioned to avoid quarrel with Siddhaswarupa's followers, even though they were canvassing temple residents and taking them away. When Sudamas Das said that this group was agitating against ISKCON, do not agitate back, Srila Prabhupada replied. Don't cause a strain. But they spoke to one girl who had moved into the temple, said Sudama, and they took her with them. So many girls come and go, said Srila Prabhupada. Just chant, dance, read, preach, and think of Krishna always. The unconventional preaching and practices of Siddha Swarupa led devotees to pose to Srila Prabhupada queries like the following, made after a class in Hawaii. Are Siddha Swarupananda Goswami and Tushta Krishna Maharaj and for their followers more advanced in their understanding of Krishna and the spiritual master than the other devotees in ISKCON? And secondly, have they advanced beyond following the rules and regulations of ISKCON? In response, Srila Prabhupada was non-condemnatory and avoided being drawn into controversy. Condemnatory means expressed on. That is up to you to judge by the result. If they actually advanced, why should they leave this company of ISKCON? Therefore, I know they are very good souls. They might have done some mistake out of misunderstanding, but to invite them to come back again and take their position, it is not very good sign that they have left. They will never be happy. Satsvarup Das Goswami described the situation in Hawaii at that time. It wasn't the first time Srila Prabhupada was faced with a controversy when he arrived in Hawaii. Hawaii was such a place where groups of devotees gathered who did not want to follow strictly the rules and regulations and supported their deviancy from ISKCON norm with their own philosophies. One such devotee, Siddha Swarupa, after breaking away from ISKCON, had gathered his own followers and preached to them and to newcomers that it was best not to live in the temple. He did not advocate that one follow the rules and regulations strictly, nor did he conduct any organized preaching activity, only casual chanting of Hare Krishna. Prabhupada tolerated this leader and his splinter group, even though it was his own ISKCON they were criticizing. He wanted to encourage anyone who was chanting Hare Krishna or desiring to be his follower. If they chanted Hare Krishna, if they chanted Hare Krishna, he said they would gradually be purified. Those living outside the temple and following the principles loosely said that Prabhupada approved of their activities and of their leader, while those devotees living faithfully in ISKCON criticized the divergent group. Arguments went back and forth, and Srila Prabhupada's arrival became an occasion for direct confrontation. Although Siddhaswarupa and his followers had left ISKCON, they wanted to maintain a relationship with Srila Prabhupada, a point that was discussed in Hawaii in the context of not following Srila Prabhupada's representatives because it was maintained. Srila Prabhupada, although super spiritually perfect, was unaware of the purported, what is this? Perfidies, unworthiness, deceitfulness, untrustworthiness. Okay. Srila Prabhupada, it was maintained Srila Prabhupada, although spiritually perfect, was unaware of the purported perfidies of his subordinate managers. They insisted they could faithfully obey Srila Prabhupada but would not follow his GBC representative or his ISKCON. One dissenter has devised one dissenter. What is this? Person dissents. Opposition. Okay. One dissenter had devised an intricate philosophy that Srila Prabhupada was all knowing and expert spiritually, but not materially. Oh, this is so offensive. Prabhupada can't build a jet engine, he said. He can't build a nuclear reactor. Therefore, he is not expert materially, but is expert spiritually. According to this new theory, since Prabhupada had to depend on his own men, his disciples, to know what was going on in ISKCON. He was unaware of how badly the GBC was mismanaging, of how they were misconducting the Buddhist tradition, and of how they were mistreating the devotees. Prabhupada was, they said, not aware because these activities were occurring on the material platform. In this way, they reached their conclusion of faith and trust in Prabhupada but refused to work within his society with his representatives. The devotees in Prabhupada's room had formerly been leaders of ISKCON Hawaii, but had left and now threatening to use the funds and properties in their own name. Prabhupada kept asking them simply, why did you leave? Why don't you stay? Why don't you surrender? But they insisted that while they trusted Prabhupada, they could not trust the GBC. One of the GBC members in the room became exasperated with this refusal to accept Prabhupada's simple request of exasperated and irritate intensely. Okay. One of the GBC members in the room became exasperated with this refusal to accept Prabhupada's simple request of surrender. You say that you accept Prabhupada. Yes, they replied. And you say you have faith in him. Yes. You say that whatever he asks, you can follow. Yes. So if Prabhupada asks you to follow the GBC, will you do that? The room became intense and silent, became tense and silent. No, we cannot follow. When they uttered that no, Srila Prabhupada dropped his fist on the table and pointed to the deviant devotees, declaring, just see the hypocrisy. Satswarup Das Goswami later commented on his impressions at that turbulent time. When traveling with Srila Prabhupada as his secretary in 1974, I personally witnessed how even in his presence, some of his disciples were declaring themselves leaders in defiance of the GBC and ISKCON and trying to claim shelter and authorization by Prabhupada. As Prabhupada traveled, he strongly dealt with deviances and indicated that his sincere followers should work within within his ISKCON. Mainstream ISKCON members in the affected areas, those who stuck to the standard practices and techniques that devotees worldwide adhered to, with the express approval of Srila Prabhupada, objected that Srila Siddhaswarupa's followers seemed more loyal to him than to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Prabhu,
That
your
is
voice dropped.
okay. Sorry.
Your voice dropped. The volume for your voice dropped.
Now it is okay.
No, no, Prabhu.
Oh,
It suddenly got slow, very much slow. Low volume.
now devotees can hear me.
Yes, Prabhu, loud and clear.
Yeah, because my suddenly my Zoom here got disconnected. That's why. Okay. Okay. I'll read from first. Mainstream ISKCON members in the affected areas, those who stuck to the standard practices and techniques the devotees worldwide adhered to, with the express approval of Srila Prabhupada, objected that Siddhaswarupa's followers seemed more loyal to him than to Srila Prabhupada, that they considered him a pure devotee far above others in ISKCON, that they distributed his books rather than Srila Prabhupada's, and that they had caused the temples to collapse by withdrawing their manpower. For instance, when Gaur Sundar and Siddhaswarupa came to San Francisco, they turned a lot of devotees around because they were preaching peace and love and tranquility. Till now it is going on nowadays. Acknowledging the faults of Siddhaswarupa offshoot, Srila Prabhupada stated, they have gone outside our ISKCON line and cannot be relied on to cooperate with us. And anyone who will manufacture his own way of devotion is a rascal. It is not possible. Guru Kripa, they have created their own way to spread Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada. Yes, that idea is there. They are thinking of their own way. That is bad. We have got so many literatures. They are printing their own literature. That is disturbing. Yes. What he will prepare. He is not a liberated person. He is thinking somebody said that I will give my interpretation on Bhagavad. It is against our principles. Guru Kripa. You know how to spread Krishna consciousness, therefore I follow. I don't even know what Krishna is. I'm just trying to follow. Therefore, that will be successful. Several of the Orthodox ISKCON leaders were quite frustrated with Siddhaswarupa and would, it seems, have preferred if Srila Prabhupada had outright rejected him. Yet Srila Prabhupada was consistently lenient and often defended Siddhaswarupa against accusations. When a disciple complained, many of the boys that are working with Siddhaswarupa feel more allegiance to Siddhaswarupa than they do to you. Srila Prabhupada simply said, that doesn't matter. Matters were again smoothed out after Krishna and Siddhaswarupa separately met Srila Prabhupada during mid 1974. Often they offered him generous donations, which Srila Prabhupada appreciated. Undoubtedly, Siddhaswarupa and his disciples were attached to Srila Prabhupada and wanted to maintain a relationship with him, but on their own terms and conditions, which included distancing themselves from his other followers. They did not seem to have registered the import of accepting a spiritual master, of surrendering one's life to him and acting according to his desire. Still, when questioned by Kedara Das about the position of Siddha Swarupananda, Srila Prabhupada reply. Siddha Swarupananda is very nice boy. I like him very much. He has always wanted his independence. Therefore, I have given it to him. Krishna Krishna Swami continued to present the philosophy strictly as Srila Prabhupada had, and with reference to Srila Prabhupada as his spiritual master. Srila Prabhupada kept in frequent touch with him, encouraging his plans to develop a community somewhat apart from the broader ISKCON. In February 1975, Srila Prabhupada wrote to him, I am very happy to hear your report. Krishna is giving you facility to develop. Krishna is giving facility there to develop a very nice Varnashram society in New Zealand. Try your best to develop an ideal society there to set a perfect example for the human society of how one can live very simply, chant Hare Krishna and developing love of Krishna. Make sure that you keep the whole program pure by faithfully following all the rules and regulations that I have given. Rising early, attending Mangalarati, and holding classes, chanting 16 rounds daily, observing the four regulative principles, four basic principles, no intoxication, no meditating, etc. And everything will be great success. You are all you are an intelligent boy, so I think you can understand how to manage things very nicely there. And in November 1975, Srila Prabhupada wrote congratulating Krishna Krishna Swami on having a successful restaurant and endorsing his plans for Varnashrama College and an additional scholastic institution. Shortly thereafter, Srila Prabhupada endorsed his acting as an initiating guru in the future. Keep trained very rigidly, and then you are a bona fide guru and you can accept disciples on the same principle. But as a matter of etiquette, it is the custom that during the lifetime of your spiritual master, you bring the prospective disciples to him, and in his absence of disappearance, you can accept disciples without any limitation. Srila Prabhupada continued to send him. Srila Prabhupada continued to send him encouraging letters regarding his farm project, plans for a temple, and method of preaching. Mm, okay, okay, Atindriya Prabhu, you can start reading. In September 1976.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Hare Krishna. Welcome.
You're able to
In
hear
September.
me?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, Prabhu,
Hare
start
Krishna.
reading.
Welcome. In September 1976, Srila Prabhupada praised to Krishna Swami for a letter he had sent to the Prime Minister and other prominent people of New Zealand, preaching to them to not permit abortion. But Srila Prabhupada also admonished to Sri Krishna, telling him that he cannot remain aloof from ISKCON and expect to make a spiritual advancement. Tushti Krishna responded, everyone in ISKCON is like a robot. They get up at the same time, they give up their individuality. Srila Prabhupada agreed. Yes, for Krishna, we sacrifice our individuality and become like robots. And you have to do this also. You have to do this also.
Can you imagine telling Prabhupada that your devotees are like robots and Prabhupada has to answer it very soberly? Um, can you tell Maharaj that in Kurmagram everybody is acting like robot? What is this? So you should see, Krishna Krishna, what kind of a fellow you are. Prabhupada is giving you life and he's responding like this. Everyone is like a robot. They get up at the same time, they give up their individuality. Srila Prabhupada agreed, yes, for Krishna, we sacrifice them. And actually, you can't defeat Prabhupada. Prabhupada is very intelligent. The problem is that they go against Prabhupada in the backside, so that's why they seem to be going against. But actually, you can't speak to Prabhupada so easily. And because they have no culture, so that's why they maintain like this. Actually, in India, they nobody speaks like this. Nobody will speak like that to an elderly person, at least to a guru like that. Anyhow, Hare
Bhurijan Das and his wife Jagat Tarini Devi Dasi were among those who were influenced by the Siddha Swarup faction. Bhurijan Das recalls, Sudama Vipraswamy and Tushta Krishna Swami became our friends. The Krishna conscious lifestyle of these devotees compared to the somewhat tense dealings with other ISKCON devotees was refreshing, relaxed, friendly, and practical. At this time, I did not know that tension existed between Siddha Swarup and his followers and other disciples of Prabhupada. Both Bhurijana and Jagat Tarini described that due to imbibing various misunderstandings from Siddha Swarup and his followers, they had become spiritually lax and bordering on offensive until Srila Prabhupada personally intervened and powerfully disabused them. We kept asking Prabhupada about Siddha Swarup. We couldn't understand. It seemed he was empowered. But Srila Prabhupada was clear, telling that telling them that Siddha Swarupa was a nonsense and admonishing them. You are you are following a cheater. You have become cheated and now you are cheating others. Attempted reconciliation. Despite Srila Prabhupada's repeated attempts to get Siddha Swarup to cooperate with the GBC, he told Srila Prabhupada that he could not work with them and that he would never accept control by anyone. He refused when Srila Prabhupada offered to make him a GBC member. In light of Srila Prabhupada's insistence on following authority, most of Srila Prabhupada's followers considered Siddha Swarupa's stance outrageous. Nevertheless, while recognizing that Siddha Swarup was in some ways deviant, Srila Prabhupada still counted him among his disciples and, and indicated that those who criticized him were envious. So far, I have studied Siddha Swarup. He is not a bad boy, but he has his own philosophy from the very beginning. It is almost inevitable that there should be enviousness among God brothers, just like among my God brothers. As recalled by Pusht Krishnadas, then a sannyasi and Srila Prabhupada's traveling secretary. In Australia, there were some ISKCON devotees who were displeased with Siddha Swarupanand Maharaj's successful preaching in Hawaii. They noted how not all his followers were coming to Srila Prabhupada, although they used Srila Prabhupada's books and chanted the holy names. When I mentioned this to Srila Prabhupada, he raised his eyebrows and said, that is Vaishnava Aparad, meaning it was Vaishnava Aparad against Siddha Swarupanand Maharaj. With all humility, Prabhupada said that there were many branches of the tree of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that ISKCON is not the only branch. He said that we need to develop tolerance for the other branches of Mahaprabhu's tree. Early in 1976, a new devotee named Ralph wrote to Srila Prabhupada asking whether it was proper to attend functions held by Siddha Swarupanand Goswami and Tushti Krishna Swami. He had heard conflicting reports and was attached to their association. Yet he also regularly attended the ISKCON temple's morning program. Since the possibility of initiation was upcoming for him and several other devotees in New Zealand, he wanted Srila Prabhupada to clarify what the proper attitude should be. Srila Prabhupada obliged. There is no reason why you cannot associate with any of my disciples, providing they adhere to our principles. As long as Srila Swarup Maharaj and Tushta Krishna Maharaj act as sannyasis, that is, dress in dhoti, keep shave headed with shikha, follow strictly the rules and regulations, and preach from my books, I have no objection. Sometimes there will be a little misunderstanding between God brothers that is going on even among liberated souls. What is important is that everyone must engage in Krishna's service under the direction of the spiritual master.
Okay, one
Stating, I
second. One second. I want to see the reference. It is in this letter. Okay, letter 9. See, some devotees they say that why you wear this with
Here Prabhupada is saying very clearly that as long as there is no reason why you cannot associate with them, providing they adhere to the principles. And what are the principles? Prabhupada is laying. As long as Sidsarup Maharaj act as sannyasis, that is, dress in dhoti, keep shaved head with shikha, follow strictly the rules and regulations, preach from the books. I have no objection. This is the rule. Sometimes it is seen that devotees have various objections with other devotees. No problem. As long as they are following principles, that's fine. So my point is that they should dress in dhoti, that is Vaishnava dress. Keep shaved head with shikha. This is one of the indications of Vaishnava. Following strictly the rules. This is the indication of being a perfect gentleman in spirituality. Mm. And preach from my books. This is what an ISKCON devotee should do. Actually, this letter is very beautiful. I should keep all this. We should keep all this. We should not dress in other than dhoti kurta. This is what Prabhupada gave us. Keep always shaved head, no beard, no unnecessary weird kind of shikha. Some devotees they matted their shikha. No, keep nice shikha. Follow strictly the rules. Preach from my books. So, so sometimes there will be misunderstanding between others. That is so. Prabhupada didn't matter. For Prabhupada, the misunderstanding among devotees doesn't matter actually. There will be misunderstanding. Everybody should follow the program and everybody should just preach from Prabhupada's books. And that's all. That is what important is. What is important that everyone must engage in Krishna service and protection. So that's the thing. So we should always remember this particular point. Okay, Prabhuji, continue.
Roji, one chat is there to show the reference. I think, should I continue?
I'm sorry, I was I was unmute. I was mute. I was
Oh,
thinking why everybody is not responding. Okay, one
okay.
second. Hmm. Is the quote okay, Prabhuji? Yeah, okay. So he gave this one. Okay, thank you. Okay, Prabhu, continue. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Stating, I want that if there is any difference that should be adjusted and we must preach combinedly. Srila Prabhupada repeatedly tried to reconcile the renegade group with the main body of his followers. He desired that we should work together and that we can settle up by sitting together, notwithstanding this generous approach to Siddha Swarupa's parties, Srila Prabhupada's preference was clear. He would refer to mainstream ISKCON as our camp and to the other group as them. Siddha Swarupa's outlook was, I don't think there is any difference in philosophical understanding or anything. I think just the basic point that there are different ways of working. Several ISKCON leaders were quite supportive of him. The most opposed were those in areas directly affected by his alternative style. Understandably, some of the devotees who were sincerely trying to follow Srila Prabhupada in the way that he stipulated, without imposing their own ideas, were perplexed as to why Srila Prabhupada continued to accommodate this splinter group despite the factionalism and confusion they caused. Especially considering that in other cases, Srila Prabhupada would swiftly and soundly suppress any possible divergence and would fairly rebuke other leaders for even a slight insubordination. Hari Shauridas was one disciple who asked Srila Prabhupada about this. I, Hari Shauri, wanted to hear Prabhupada's response to some specific points of contention between Siddha Swarupa's followers and our ISKCON devotees. Srila Prabhupada, when Siddha Swarupa first surrendered, Prabhupada cut me off. He never surrendered. Then he chuckled. Seeing my surprised look, he explained that they had come and made some offering of men and assets. Therefore, he was trying to engage them in devotional service. I asked whether our devotees should read Siddha Swarupa's books because ISKCON devotees have been told that they are not bona fide. Prabhupada laughed and replied, good humoredly. Sorry, humoredly. We don't take
It's called humorous. Humorous. It's I
uh,
think humorous. Nothing is there, but I think it is humorous.
we don't take notice of what they say. We just take their money. Although between his disciples there seemed to be major differences preventing cooperative action, Prabhupada smilingly gave his own perspective on the two camps. Of course, I have affection for them. I don't send them away, and they are coming to see me. Just like there may be so many animals, some are little fiercer than others. He also pointed out that they are coming to us, not us to them. Prabhupada always refers to ISKCON as us. He said that there are differences just as there are between him and his own God brothers, but that we share a common platform of chanting Hare Krishna and taking prasad. I mentioned that in New Zealand, our men discouraged Siddha Swarupa's people from visiting the temple, but Prabhupada said, why? They can come. Our centers are only for this purpose to chant Hare Krishna and take prasad. Gradually, they will come to sense. Overall, Srila Prabhupada's policy was to be unequivocal in pointing out the wrongs of Siddha Swarupa's group, yet to remain reconciliatory with faith that their attachment to himself and to chanting would ultimately purify them. Srila Prabhupada retained this attitude even amid much provocation from the other side. For instance, during the 1975 Mayapur festival, a leading Siddha Swarupa follower attacked another devotee and then sent a letter to Prabhupada threatening fratricidal war against ISKCON members. Srila Prabhupada referred to that follower as a gunda, a thug, but he let the incident pass and did not institute any countermeasures. His response was similar when informed about further criticism. In a newspaper published by Siddha Sarupa's People of the Devotees Book Distribution Tactics, Srila Prabhupada. So you can send them. This is not good. Let him know. Tamal Krishna. Satswarupa wrote a letter to the editor saying, this is not at all proper. You should not. He gave so many Shastric reference why it is not good. Srila Prabhupada. It will be corrected. Tamal Krishna. It's not so serious. The main point is, as you said, they are chanting and all these other activities. A GBC resolution of 1977 directly concerned Siddha Swarupanand and his followers. In accord with Srila Prabhupada's wishes, it was deliberately non-confrontational. Satswarup resolved to Krishna's group in New Zealand that Siddha Swarupanand Goswami in Hawaii should pay the same price for BBT books as ISKCON temples, not less, as they are paying now. It is well known that these groups preach actively against ISKCON. In response, although we should point out their philosophic defects, we should not directly confront them but remain aloof from. Tamal Krishna, in other words, no fighting with them. Srila Prabhupada, this is to give them a chance. They are chanting some way or other, keep them alive. Shortly before Srila Prabhupada passed from this world, he had his secretary, Tamal Krishna Goswami, write to Siddha Swarupanand. It was his last communication to him, and it was positive and sweet. I have been instructed by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada to thank you for your very kind telegram which you have sent to him. Srila Prabhupada heard your kind prayer with closed eyes, drinking in all the feelings which you expressed. After hearing your offering, His Divine Grace said, I always think of you. I love you because there may be some misunderstanding, but you are sincere. I hope to meet you and talk more. Thank you very much. It seems that in the case of Siddha Swarupa, Srila Prabhupada's attitude was something is better than nothing and encouraged the group to continue chanting, accepting that they were not fully in line with his desires and probably never would be.
Okay, Prabhu,
Grihastha,
Mother devotee
yeah,
can read.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhuji,
Uh,
uh,
one second. One second. Let me see. Any devotee is there or you can? You can continue because no other devotee is there. Yes, Prabhu, tell me.
okay, the mentioned Bhurijan Das, Prabhu, he is the same who wrote the Japa book.
Yes, he is the same Japa book.
Okay.
Yes.
Grihastha renunciant divide. During the 1976 GBC meetings in Mayapur, Srila Prabhupada diffused a potential schisms between Grihastha and renunciants. The North American temple presidents, mostly Grihasthas, objected to resolutions restricting the place of Grihasthas in ISKCON. Their discontent was aimed at the Radha Damodar traveling Sankirtan party, composed of brahmacharis and sannyasis and led by Tamal Krishna Goswami. The conflict had been building for at least a year, ever since Tamal Krishna had taken charge of the Radha Damodar party. Within that year, the party had grown to about 150 men, crisscrossing North America and distributing Srila Prabhupada's books. Prabhupada had praised the party, which was responsible for 30 to 40% of the total remittances to the American BBT. Men on the Radha Damodar party lived with spiritually advanced sannyasis. They developed traits of austerity and detachment and had an enthusiasm for remaining celibate without a need for marriage. The Radha Damodar party broke all records for book distribution and outdid all other zones and temples, being an elite army of Sankirtan soldiers in their zealousness for renunciation and Sankirtan leadership. most of the Radha Damodar brahmacharis had developed a condescending attitude toward temple life and householders, to the point where some
Condescending.
men.
Con- Prabhu, that's condescending. Condescending is not a good attitude.
uh,
1 second, let me check the actual dictionary meaning. Okay, showing a feeling of superiority, an attitude of patronizing superiority, disdain. This is called superiority complex. Is called condescending. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, brahmacharis and sannyasis are great. What grastas? Yeah, come on. Like that. I had to think like that. This is condescending.
Brahmacharis had developed a condescending attitude toward temple life and householders, to the point where some men were judging the worth of a devotee on the basis of whether he wore white cloth as a grihast or saffron as a sannyasi or brahmachari. Anyone in white could not be spiritually advanced devotee. At least this was the misconception that the temple presidents felt had developed among some of the more immature members of the Radha Damodar party. The greatest grievance, however, was more practical than philosophical. The presidents claimed that the Radha Damodar party was stealing men from the temples. The temple presidents compared stories and cited numerous instances to prove that men had been lured from their services in the temples to join the Radha Damodar party. Brahmacharis were being told that if they remained in the temples, they would end up married, entangled in family affairs, and therefore useless. On the other hand, they could accept the alternative of a carefree life, traveling and preaching on the party's buses. The contention that sannyasis were superior to grihasthas, the president said, was being used to convince men to leave Srila Prabhupada's temples and join the Radha Damodar group. The temples were put into great difficulty because they were losing Sankirtan men, their most valuable assets. The temple presidents considered the preaching of the Radha Damodar party to be unbalanced and selfishly motivated. The disagreement had grown so acute that some temples had forbidden the Radha Damodar party to visit, and some had banned Radha Damodar sannyasis from lecturing to the devotees. The Radha Damodar men, however, saw these restrictions as further proof of the householder's mindedness and attachment. The conflict literally gave Srila Prabhupada a headache. To his servant,
Jaspreet.
he.
Oh my God. Actually, if you read that book, anybody has written Radha Damodar Vilas. It is a book, Radha Damodar Vilas,
No.
by Vyasaki Prabhu. Actually, he has 2 volumes of the book. So in that, he clearly explains how Radha Damodar party, traveling Sankirtan party. Actually, from there, this term came, TSKP. The word called TSKP came from Radha Damodar traveling Sankirtan party. From there, this traveling Sankirtan, TSKP,
Uh,
this word came and it became famous. Now in ISKCON, everybody does traveling. Are you traveling and distributing books? Are you in the traveling Sankirtan party? Like that they say. So it is the first this one. So they were so fired up preachers. They were having how many buses? They were having 10 buses, I think. They were everywhere. Ram Prabhu, do you know how many buses they had? Ram Prabhu is not there. Or he is there, but he is not there. Okay. I think if I'm not wrong, they had 10 buses. Hmm. Okay, Prabhu, continue.
the conflict literally gave Srila Prabhupada a headache. To his servant, he commented, "This is a this is a very serious thing. This difference of sannyasi and grihastha, everything will be spoiled." After hearing both sides, Prabhupada broke the deadlock, settling the issue by wonderfully preaching to everyone that it does not matter what one is. One can do anything and go anywhere for Krishna. We are not to discriminate against anyone on the basis of external dress. One is to be judged on the basis of one's advancement in Krishna consciousness. He stated the proper etiquette for a man to join a traveling party. He should do so only with the permission of the temple president, and ideally, he said, it is it is better that the grihasthas manage the temples and the sannyasis go out and preach. This example was set by the six Goswamis, who turned over the management of their temples to their married disciples. As for the brahmacharis, he said they may do either travel and preach or remain in the temple.
Yes, this is important. He's very clear. Prabhupada is very clear regarding. That's why actually Maharaj wanted Bhakti Vikas Trust to be taken care of by by Grahasthas. Presently, Bhakti Vikas Trust is taken fully by Grahasthas. Previously, it was not so. When I was there, and of course, we only started it. Vrindavan Prabhu started in one sense an official place where devotees live in one place and then work on Maharaj books. So, but Maharaj wanted that ultimately Grahastha should take care of the whole Bhakti Vikas Trust. So, even temple management, the Grahastha should take care, and sannyasis go out and preach. And brahmacharis, there is a difference between brahmacharis leading the temple and Grahasthas leading the temple. Mm. But as far as preaching is concerned, Grihasthas can manage the temple, sannyasis go out and preach, and brahmacharis, they may travel, preach, and remain in the temple, or may remain in the temple. So there are three options for brahmacharis. No problem. This way put it. Oh, we can't do it separately. This I can't do it. Okay, okay. Okay, this I can do it like this. This one, and then remove it, and then here to here. I can have this. Here to this. Yes. Okay. Yes, Prabhuji, continue.
Yes, Lord. Finally, Srila Prabhupada concluded that this competitive spirit and attitude of puffed up prestige was not good. Everyone should remain as a humble servant. Thus, he made it quite clear that he disapproved of the resolutions and ordered the GBC to meet and strike out the controversial ones. Everyone left happy and relieved that the conflict that had grown over a period of a year or so was finally resolved. Another historic outcome was that Srila Prabhupada withdrew Tamal Krishna Goswami from America and practically forced him to go to China. Chapter 5
Okay.
Don't Be
1 second. Oh, why devotees have not come today? I think today is Ekadashi. Today they have programs in their places or what? Mm. You are Ekadashi today?
Yes, Guruji.
I think Ekadashi they have programs and all. Yes, Prabhu, continue.
Okay, yes, Guru. Chapter 5 Don't Leave ISKCON Despite Defects. Succinctly and to the point, Srila Prabhupada noted the cause for any defects in ISKCON. If there are any defects within our society, it is only a symptom that the instructions of the spiritual master are being neglected. With respect to ISKCON, Srila Prabhupada sometimes quoted the poet Cowper, England with all thy faults, I love thee. By this, he indicated that his disciples, rather than dwelling on ISKCON's defects or leaving it, should remain loyally working to rectify it. This gave rise to devotees coining the phrase, ISKCON with all thy faults, I love thee. However, the reality was that many devotees left ISKCON and reverted to their old ways. This caused Srila Prabhupada immense unhappiness, and he repeatedly entreated his disciples to not leave the Krishna consciousness movement at any cost. Our Krishna consciousness society is a Bhakta Sangha, a society of devotees. Never try to go away. Never try to go away. Discrepancies there may be, you should adjust. There is no question of leaving our society. One may think like that, but I cannot allow you to leave. That is my inspiration. Those who have left the society, I am always thinking of them. He entreated devotees 3 times in the course of one talk. With all inconveniences, I don't think there is any inconvenience. But even though there are many inconveniences, my request to you is don't give up this practice or cultivation of Krishna consciousness. Do not give up this Krishna consciousness movement. That is my request. In all circumstances, trials, do not give up. A common reason for devotees wanting to leave the society was disillusionment, disillusionment due to disagreements, unpleasant dealings, or the unsaintly behavior of other members of ISKCON. Seeing such discord as akin to a family quarrel, Srila Prabhupada urged his disciples to not go away. We have, by Krishna's grace, built up something significant in the shape of this ISKCON, and we are all one family. Sometimes there may be disagreement and quarrel, but we should not go away. These inabilities can be adjusted by the cooperative spirit, tolerance, and maturity. So I request you to kindly remain in the association of our devotees and work together. Pleading as the father of his spiritual children.
अरे कृष्ण
Pleading
प्रभु
as
क्या हुआ?
yes, Prabhu, actually there was noise, so I remain silent.
Okay.
Pleading as the father of
That,
his spiritual children, Srila Prabhupada exhorted his disciples to remain within the ISKCON family. Please patch up any crack that may have come between yourself and ISKCON. Our ISKCON should be taken as being a family based upon love and trust. So as the father becomes unhappy when one of his children wishes to break family connections, I also become unhappy when there are difficulties within our ISKCON family. So please do not consider leaving as you are spiritual children of mine. He advised devotees to tolerate any friction. Titikshavaha, tolerate. If there is any inconvenience in this society, don't be disturbed. Tolerate. That is the first qualification of sadhu. Don't think, oh, it is not suitable for me. I am going away. No, tolerate. If you cannot cope with your friends and God brothers, tolerate. Try to pacify. In the following letter, while urging a discontent disciple to remain in the ISKCON family, Srila Prabhupada hints that the difficulties the devotee was experiencing were not actually very substantial, and that his real problem was that he was not properly applying himself to the standard process of Krishna consciousness. Even in ordinary family affairs, there is sometimes disagreement, but that does not mean that immediately the disagreeing members shall leave the family. Similarly, our Krishna consciousness movement means we are all gathering together in the family of Krishna. Actually, we are all eternal family members of the Lord. But due to our misuse of independence, we have now forgotten our eternal relationship with Krishna. Exactly like a man who is mad forgets his family relationship and loiters in the street. But when he is again in his normal mental condition, he remembers his family members and goes back to them. Similarly, this Krishna consciousness movement is a treatment for reviving the memory that we all belong to Krishna's family. So we are trying to establish a replica of Krishna's family in this material world, wherein there is no material activities. To avoid the material activities means to follow the four regulative principles, engage ourselves constantly in Krishna consciousness activities, and to have the association of pure devotees. We should not give indulgence. We should not give indulgence to our senses more than what is required just to keep body and soul together. We should not engage ourselves in very difficult tasks, and we should not talk anything more than what is necessary for spreading Krishna consciousness. We should follow the regulative principles regard being regard being head to situation, circumstances, and objectives. We should not be greedy and we should not mix with persons not interested in Krishna. In this way, we can make steady progress and maintain our membership in Krishna's family. Thus, at the end of this life, we will enter actually into the spiritual world. So, our main business should be to spread Sankirtan, becoming.
So your, not our. So your.
Oh, sorry. So, your main business should be to spread Sankirtan, becoming tolerant, tolerant as the tree and becoming humbler than the grass. If you have any time, any difficulty, please try to settle up in the above way, but do not leave the company of devotees. That will not help you, even though there may seem to be some difficulties.
Okay,
Similar,
Prabhu.
yes.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Okay, Asita Prabhu, continue.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, bro.
Hare Krishna.
A similar message, more succinctly expressed. Do not let your mind be disturbed by so many things. Our movement is for chanting Hare Krishna. One can be happy under any condition. Samadukha Sukham Dukdhiram. Krishna consciousness does not depend on any external arrangement. You should not go outside of shelter of this ISKCON. Just try to be happy by chanting Hare Krishna and following the regulative principles, emphasizing the point of remaining in devotional association, which is essential for spiritual advancement. Srila Prabhupada often quoted a line from a song by Narottam Das Thakur to substantiate his insistence that his followers not go outside the Krishna consciousness society. तांदेरा चरण से भी भक्त सनेवास जनमे जनमे है यही अभिलाष. The Krishna consciousness devotees must always desire to remain in the society of devotees. Bhakta Sanevas, they cannot go outside. The Krishna conscious society or movement. Within the society, we must try to serve the predecessors by preaching Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's cult and spreading his name and fame all over the world. If we attempt this seriously within the society, it will be successfully done. There is no question of estimating how this will happen in the mundane sense, but without a doubt it happens by the grace of Krishna. Another formidably worded warning about the perils of leaving this society. Anyone who is trying to be aloof from this Krishna consciousness society and yet engage in Krishna consciousness is living in a great hallucination, for this is not possible. Unless one is associated with devotees, his devotional service does not mature, it does not become distinct from material activities. Further sharp words: don't be an upstart and leave this Krishna consciousness movement whimsically. While speaking on the importance of brahmachari life, Srila Prabhupada added, but if you must get married, then get married. But at any cost, do not leave this movement. To the possible contention that the devotees within the Krishna consciousness society are not up to the proper standard or are not really fit to be called devotees at all and therefore need not or should not be associated with, Srila Prabhupada stated, still one should stick to the society. And he offered to make himself personally available to would be absconders. Even if one thinks that there are many pseudo devotees or non devotees in the Krishna conscious society, still one should stick to the society. If one thinks the society's members are not pure devotees, one can keep direct company with the spiritual master. And if there is any doubt, one should consult the spiritual master.
This is very, very important.
Yeah.
Actually, this the Prabhupada is, you can see what Prabhupada, I can put this as a copy it and then put in the, this is very, very important. Hmm. Before that also I had um, quote. Yeah, this there is no reason why you cannot associate this. This also I want to put it there. Yeah, this is very important. Yes. Yes, Prabhuji, continue.
How might this work after Srila Prabhupada's departure from this world? When Giriraj Das posed this query, Srila Prabhupada's stipulation remained the same: don't leave. Srila Prabhupada, now you are here, so everything is alright. But if, in the course of time when you are not here, ISKCON falls from the standard, what should I do? Srila Prabhupada replied, you are also one of the important members of the society, so you work for the correction. Don't leave.
Okay, we will stop here. It's already 10:50, so we will take tomorrow. We will meet tomorrow. So if at all any devotees have anything to say or ask, I understand that so many devotees will have some questions. Some devotees might have some questions. So can these are all things. Chris Lucy, yes, Prabhuji. Chris Lucy, yes, Chris.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Pranam. I have a question.
Mataji or a Prabhuji or Chris?
No,
Chris
Mata.
Mataji?
This is Mata. Chris,
Okay,
it's to me, but I have the question.
yes, Mataji, tell me.
Thank you. How to balance what we are reading today um, with how to explain? For example,
What's
in the
hap- what's happening in the present ISKCON like that?
yes, exactly.
That I sense that how to balance between what's happening in ISKCON and what we are reading in Prabhupada's books. The only thing is that as Mahara Prabhupada said, this is the thing. Even if one thinks there are many pseudo devotees or non devotees in Krishna consciousness society, still one should stick to the society. If one thinks the society members are not pure devotees, one can keep direct company with the spiritual master. If there is any doubt, one should consult the spiritual master. This is what is our this one. And better to associate with like-minded devotees, and then not to offend those devotees who are not following so strictly, or they are giving some deviated classes or speaking something different. So if they do like that, then better to be aloof from them, and then from far distance pay obeisances to them, and then do our duties in Krishna consciousness. Like for example, myself, I am staying in one temple here in United States. The thing is, here it's not so strict or anything like that. Very difficult, in the sense that it is not like so vibrant atmosphere of brahmachari ashram or something like that. But still, I stick to my book distribution. I stick to my sadhana, and I pray to devotees. That's why I associate with you all devotees, at least online. At least some speaking is there, some reading is there, some hearing of Prabhupada's books is there. So in that way, I am trying to satisfy myself. Yeah, it is difficult to see every time some deviations happening. I can understand that because we are reading it every time. But we can pray. Maybe in future, Krishna will empower us. We don't know. Maybe Mataji, Krishna Mataji might be empowered or with some devotees. Those who can have a separate place where devotees follow very strictly. So that can be done. If devotees come together and 4 5 devotees are there, and if they think that we can start a center or a place where devotees can live together and follow very strictly, very nicely, according to what Prabhupada gives, what Maharaj gives in his book, then it is very fine. And if you are unable to do it, at least we can do it in our own house. Because you are Mataji. So I mean, You can do it in your own house or with some devotees. I don't know your situation, basically, but on the whole, one should do whatever is needful in progressing in Krishna consciousness. For for progressing in Krishna consciousness. So take the best use of the bad bargain. Yes, everything is going on not properly, but at least there is some place where there are deities. At least there is some place where there is kirtan. At some place something is going on. What to do? Everything cannot be strictly followed, but at the same time something is going on. So um, just do what others are doing, and if you think that there is deviation going on, keep yourself aloof. Like, for example, sometimes devotees eat tofu and soya. I don't eat it, so I don't take. They don't offer to the deities even. So they asked me whether you take tofu or soya. No, I don't take tofu, I said. So I don't take soya chunks or soya what sauce or whatever it is. I don't take, I said. So that's fine with them. So I don't take that prasadam. I don't take that so-called whatever the prasadam. So I'm saying if I get disturbed, then who is going to be lost? Who is going to be in loss? I'm going to be in loss because I will lose the place. I can't distribute books. So if we can create some place wherein devotees can come together and you all like-minded people can come together, then that is fine. It's not outside of ISKCON. I'm telling within the group there are within ISKCON there are so many devotees who are started already their groups and they come to ISKCON. Like for example, in Hyderabad, there are only two temples and three and four temples, three temples and two centers. There are two temples and three centers, but there are so many groups. There are so many groups. Like there are more than 1,000 groups are there within them. But everybody comes to ISKCON. Everybody comes to ISKCON temples. Everybody has, but they have their own classes. They have their own programs. Everybody youth preaching classes are going on. It's like that. More than 100, 200 programs are going on. Everybody. So it's like that. Everybody has their own. We should not unnecessarily outspoke in such a way that oh you're deviated. We don't want to associate with you, then we will be under problems. We should know from Prabhupada what is wrong and what is right and do accordingly what is right in our own way. That is what I think I do. Is it okay, Mataji?
Yes, thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I
Yeah,
set out because
yeah, you
it's
can.
a little bit
Yeah,
difficult
yeah,
to
you
go to
can.
the temple these days.
Hmm.
But to keep the association with other devotees and this really important part, right, of spiritual life, of having association with devotees and have like kirtan groups and things like that. It's a little bit difficult, at least right now here in Mexico City, or at least for us.
There are
So
no devotees. There is a temple over there.
yes, it's a temple here in Mexico City, but it's because it's a little bit difficult going these days because they are mixing all together and they
Hmm.
don't keep like separate spaces. So
For
sometimes,
man and woman. Prabhujis and Matajis.
yes, Prabhujis and Matajis. So it's a little uncomfortable because when they are doing yajnas or like at any festival or just classes in the morning or afternoon, they are sitting like all over the place. So it's a little uncomfortable and not properly because yes, all see jumping together
And the Mataji and Prabhus juntos
mixing.
mixing
Oh, they dance together, huh? They dance together.
Mm?
thanks.
They dance together. I'm asking.
Yes, they dance together. Yes, and they like yes, they run together like it's the fire or in the festival or even in the class when it's like beginning with kirtan. Sometimes they just dance together. So
Yeah,
and apart
and I
from
have
that,
seen in. Yes, ma'am. Yes, yes.
Yes, and apart from that, most of the devotees here are following his guru that preach like something very different from what we are trying to follow.
Mhm. I can understand that. They're mostly egalitarianism. I mean, egalitarian means all equal. We should go. We are all spirit souls.
Yes,
You
yes, and like,
know, there is
uh-huh,
nothing like Mataji. There is nothing like Mataji, Prabhuji difference. Man, woman. This is all material. We are all the same. So it's like that. I can understand that. I'm thinking so. Maybe it is something different more. And you can expect that because the leader or the guru or whoever it is, if he is not following that separation, at least separation among men and women, that is important at least. Rest all
yes,
can follow later, but at least for basic sense, even in church also they don't do like that nowadays. They have a separate place where women sit and they have a separate place where men sit. They don't sit together. I have not seen any Christian church in the West. They sit together. They may eat together. They may dance together. That is later part of the day when they go for ball dance or any other thing. But when they are on the mass prayers, when the father or a bishop is giving the sermons, and then they are hearing, it is not that men and women are sitting together for the prayers. It is for our devotees, it is too much, and and we can expect that what kind of classes would be, they would avoid the purports where Prabhupada is telling about so many things, and they think that Prabhupada is an old guy from India. He doesn't have any idea about what he's speaking, and I can think that even the devotees give classes in pant and shirt also. I think they sit on the vyasas and with their pant and shirt, the karmi clothes. Even they don't wear dhoti kurta also. Am I
oh,
right?
yes, yes, that is happening a lot. Sometimes even if they are not wearing like their devotional clothes, because some of them think that is not devotional clothes, like that is not what makes you a devotee. So
Yeah. That is there. Anyhow, see, the thing is, if they are giving the classes through this one, that means they are thinking that you can become a sannyasi even in pant and shirt. Even you can preach in pant and shirt. That means you can go to any extent for that matter. So dress doesn't matter. Dress is only an external thing, but they don't understand. But Prabhupada is writing that it's like how you are identifying yourself. Anyhow, this dress is a big debate among those devotees. So yeah, I can understand if the leaders are like that, then nothing can be done. The only thing is that it's like some hippie culture. it's like it's like some hippie culture where man and woman. I think in 1966, when Prabhupada newly started 26 Second Avenue, all the men and women were dancing like that together. But slowly, women were dancing in a separately, men were dancing separately. And by the time Prabhupada came 76, 77, women were very far and then men were very far and they were dancing like, individually you can dance, not together. This is too much. And we can understand what kind of brahmacharis there would be. There are brahmacharis over there? No brahmacharis.
no, no, these days there are no brahmacharis.
Chai, no.
I mean, those brahmacharis, those devotees who want to remain brahmachari also, they will get married because the saffron they don't like. They will think that the saffron is a big hindrance for them. Even sannyasis are leaving saffron dress and wearing pant and shirt and giving classes. What to speak of other devotees wearing saffron? Saffron is just nothing, useless. It is. Oh, Mataji, Hare Krishna. You are very tolerant. You are tolerating so much. I can understand your position.
Yeah, yeah. So I have a little doubt because what we were reading today that Prabhupada wants us to be tolerant, of course, and to don't
That's
leave the
another
society.
thing. Another thing is that you can start your own center, wherein you can speak very nicely, very clearly, and then you both, your husband and wife, you can. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Chris, Mataji.
No, it wasn't me.
No. I'm
I
saying that you can start a center wherein you both can preach what is to be done right. Then at least something can be done. You can take your own, create your own association. If you don't have a proper association, then in your own house, in your own place, I don't know the, like, Mexico City now, how is it? But I'm saying, yeah,
yes. No, but I understand it. Yes, we are trying to do something like that with a few, very few devotees that
yeah,
sometimes.
yeah.
Yes.
It's difficult. I have seen some devotees came from Brazil over here, and they were doing something, and I told something, and it became a big thing for them. Nobody can tell anything for them, and that is one more big problem. They don't hear from anybody. They think that some devotees who are brahmacharis or saffron, they're very fanatics of Prabhupada. They don't know what is Prabhupada's mood, and I stopped speaking. Like every time we have to pamper them, we have to joke with them. There is nothing like seriousness in Krishna consciousness. That's what I saw. Okay, anyhow, this will go on. Okay, any other devotee has any other thing? Thank you, Mataji, for sharing.
Oh, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, anybody has anything to say? Okay, thank you very much. So we will stop here and we'll meet tomorrow from this place. How might, where is the deviation? Oh, Baba Ray, this is too much. Okay, anyhow, thank you very much for all your association. So I'm taking all of your association because at least through Shravan Kirtan. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpatarubhescha kripasindhubhyo पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जगद्गुरु श्री प्रभुपाद की जय सरस्वती विकास स्वामी महाराज की जय द मूड एंड मिशन श्री प्रभुपाद की जय
Yeah.
हरे
Hare
कृष्ण
Krishna.
थैंक यू माता जी हरे कृष्ण थैंक यू प्रभु जी